Okay, thanks for coming to the GrowBox workshop today. My name's Dean Smith, and I've been making these grow boxes like this for 3 years now. This is not my design. The whole idea was started by a farmer in Florida who wanted to raise tomatoes in a place that was like beach sand, and he couldn't do that. So he invented a container similar to this called an earth box, and he had some of them made. And now the earth box company is a pretty big company in Florida, and they sell a box similar to this for about $50. So other people have looked at their design and have said, gee, you could do this in a lot of different ways. And so I found a place on the internet that had this particular design, and I said, that's a good design. And so I kind of copied it, and so we're making them today here. All we're going to do is assemble these things. I've already made all the parts for you. It takes tools to make these parts, and they're tools you could hurt yourself with. So I didn't want any of you guys to hurt yourself, and it makes a big mess too. And my wife will tell you there's a mess all over my driveway right now from this. So the principle of the grow box is that the water, like in nature, the water is on the bottom. Okay, the soil is on the top. Just the water is down here, just like an aquifer in the earth, and the soil is on the top, and the water will just kind of wick up into the soil as it's needed by the plants. And so the way we make this is we buy this whole box at Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere like that. I take the lid and I cut the lid out, and I use the center part of the lid to be the platform that holds the soil up. And in order to hold that platform up off of the bottom of the box, I cut these little pieces of sewer pipe. These are 4 inches high, and some of them have lots of holes drilled in them, and others don't have many holes in them. And the ones that have lots of holes go under another hole here in the platform. So that as this platform sits here, you put the soil on top. Some of the soil you want to push down into the open column here, and that soil will act as a wick for the water to come up into the rest of the soil. So you only need 2 of those. That's fine. They're all stitched together with these wire ties. So assembling one of these is like sewing, really. And I have all the wire ties over there. There's also a few other holes drilled in the platform, and the reason they're there for is to just let the water that comes in from the top, maybe rainwater or something like that, to let it go out, because you don't want your plants to be waterlogged. I also provide for you a little pipe that goes in the corner here, and its purpose, it's the fill pipe, because a lot of plants, especially tomatoes, don't like to have their leaves get wet, especially in the fall, so when they're producing tomatoes. So by having this tube to water through, you don't have to get water on the plants. Also, very, very important, you want to have some holes drilled in the side of the tub, just under the platform, so that as you fill it up with water, it doesn't overfill. Otherwise, you could drown your plants. So when I fill one of these, and you only need to fill it about once a week or so in our climate, fill it with water until you see water running out those holes, and then you know it's full, and you can stop watering at that point. So that's about it. Any questions?
Actually, you don't need to fill it once a week.
You don't need to?
No, it's more like every other week, but
Okay.
you have to check it. We also have some soil out in the parking lot, and Dennis brought some tomatoes that he started. And the soil and the grow boxes are $12 each for the kit. And the soil and the tomatoes is just a donation to the church, whatever amount you want to donate to the church for those.
Yeah. Now, you might ask what happens to the rest of the lid, and all your kits that are setting out on tables here. You can take that lid, and what I do here is I plant the plants in here. I fill this up with soil about as full as you can get it, all the way to the top. And then I put a I put a layer of black plastic down over the top of the soil. You can use just a section of a trash can, you know, I mean, a trash bag. I take a trash bag and cut it into, you know, cut it up so that I have some pieces of plastic. And I stretch that over the top, and then put it under the lid, and the lid will snap down on here real tight. And that holds the moisture in the soil, and it also warms the soil. As the sun gets on the plastic, it warms it up, and it controls weeds, and it controls excess evaporation of water from the soil. You want all the water to be transpiring through the plant, not just out into space.
Now, you wouldn't do that if you planted seeds, because if you planted seeds, you'd start out with just dirt. You'd put the seeds in and just cover them up with a little bit of dirt. You would use the black plastic if you were gonna put a transplant in there, like the tomatoes. So you just cut two little X's in the plastic and then put your tomatoes in there.
You might ask about fertilizer and something like this. If you use organic fertilizer, and I have a bag of cottonseed meal over there, which is a pretty good source of nitrogen. And I just mix about 4 cups of it, a lot of it really, right in with the soil, just mix it in. You can't do that if you're using non-organic fertilizer, because non-organic fertilizer has really strong nitrogen in it, and every time the little roots touch that nitrogen, it kills them. So that's too much nitrogen. If you're gonna use non-organic fertilizer, you have to make a little trench just with your fingers in the soil and just spread the fertilizer in that trench. The plants will come up and get it as they need it. But organic, mix it right in.
Dean, how do you define organic fertilizer?
It's usually labeled as organic when you buy it.
What does it mean when you're talking about?
It means it has a natural source of nitrogen.
Because from
Yeah.
cottonseed, because cotton, the plant that has a lot of pesticides used on it, so it's not organic in the sense that your vegetables are organic.
Cottonseed meal.
What comes into the meal is none of the chemicals that they use on the outside.
How about alfalfa meal?
Alfalfa meal would be okay. Soybean oil meal, any oil plant meal would be fine for that. Good sources of nitrogen.
You wanna talk about what this is?
Yeah, somebody,
Jackie
Jackie
Swires.
Swires had a friend, her friend from Iran, was concerned because she had her cats would get in this.
Oh,
And yeah, cats and dogs love these things.
oh, yeah.
So I made this kind of a little arrangement. I just made a frame out of some PVC pipe glued together, and I stretched some chicken wire over it. And you could set this and kind of just push it down into the soil, you know, push it down in there. And that would keep cats out, I think, if that's a concern. So that's one way to handle that.
So you're not concerned about sun getting to the plants?
Well, set it outside in the sun. Sure, you want the sun, because plants need
So if you
sunlight.
have black plastic over it?
Black plastic is just on the soil, not on the plant.
Oh, okay,
The
okay,
plant's up
gotcha.
above the
Gotcha.
black plastic. I saw a 100-acre field in Florida that had boxes like this, tens of thousands of these boxes. And they all had a little water tube coming to them, so it was all automatically watered. And I'm sure and they were growing tomatoes, and I'm sure the farmer who was doing that wanted to go organic the very first year. And if you're doing a field and you want to be organic, it takes 3 years
Right.
of no non-organic fertilizer or anything like that to qualify. So, but with these things, you can go organic the very first year. There's no waste of fertilizer into these. There's no excess water runoff. I mean, this is a self-contained system, so.
You do wanna use a really high-quality soil though, because it's such a, it's an artificial environment. So I actually tried just putting some of the garden dirt in it, and you get diseases and mold and stuff. So, you wanna use a pretty high-quality
So what
potting
did
soil.
you use? Oh, potting soil?
Well, the best soil I found is some stuff I get out at Smoky Point, the plant farm out there.
Oh.
It's real expensive, like $25 for 2 or 3 cubic feet. It's really, but it's really good stuff.
It's made for starting seeds, so it's sterilized.
Yeah, I have out in the parking lot there, I have a pickup truck load full of Cedar Grove vegetable soil. It's pretty good too. And it's a lot.
Flats out here?
Yeah. And so I just brought a half yard today And you know, just make a donation to the church to cover the cost of that. But if you wanna take that with you today. These green boxes, when you've got them filled with soil, are about as much as anybody can handle to pick up and
They're
move around.
more than anybody can.
And if they've got a lot of water in the bottom, they're really heavy. The little pink boxes are much better for that. You could put 2 tomato plants in here, I would say 4 broccoli plants, and
What about carrots?
carrots. If you use a short carrot, you can use the shorter, the smaller boxes. If you use a longer carrot, you need the big box like this. Yeah,
I stopped at Albertsons thinking I was supposed to bring the fill, and I got 2 cubic feet of organic compost.
yeah.
Is that, can I just use that in there, or should that
Probably
be
be
mixed
okay.
with something
I'd
else?
still mix fertilizer in with it, organic fertilizer.
Okay.
You can't over fertilize with organic fertilizer. The more you put in there, the better results you're gonna have.
Well,
Jenny has a lot more experience than I do with actually making things grow in these boxes.
Oh, this is the industrial.
he makes the
Now, these boxes have, they're made a little different than the ones I've used before, so they've got a little bit of extra space around the platform here, like an inch almost of extra. So I brought some newspaper, and you may wanna just roll up some newspaper and stick it in under the dirt right there. That'll kinda keep it from falling down below
Oh, right.
and so forth. But it doesn't hurt if some of the dirt's gonna fall down, it can't fall. At the end of the year, after the growing season, take the dirt out. Completely empty this thing. Throw the dirt in your compost pile or something, 'cause it's gonna be a mass of roots. It's not, you don't wanna plant in that the second year. So chop it all up with a shovel or something, throw it in your compost and put new dirt in it next year.
And scrub it out with a little bit of bleach water, not a high concentration, but you just wanna kill any germs that are in there.
Yeah. So big boxes for tomatoes, broccoli, squash, carrots, peas, small boxes for lettuce, radishes, strawberries. Strawberries do great in this environment.
Really?
Other small
Can you
stuff.
do successive crops, like lettuce you have out in front there?
Yeah.
It doesn't take
Sure.
as long as grow as you can do.
Yeah, what we
several-
do is we
several
grow, set a box of lettuce, plant it, about a month later, plant another box of lettuce. Then you'll have rotating lettuce all summer long. Yeah.
You have 2 boxes.
2 boxes, right, and as soon as the first one's gone, put new soil in it, and start a new crop of lettuce.
You might be able to get a second crop in the same soil in 1 year. You might be able to. That'd be worth trying. So did you show them how to sew everything together?
Well, I'll kinda go around and work it out. Once you put the first one of these wire ties in, then the rest of them are easy. The first one's, it takes you longer, but, yeah, it's just sewing it together, so.
So Dean, could we maybe go through the different pipes, how many of each you need one more time?
Yeah, you need, to do one of these, you need a box, you need the platform, and you need 2 of these pipes with lots of holes in them, and 2 with just a few holes in them. Okay? And you need one of these fill tubes, and the lid, the rim of the lid.
So,
So who wants to be first?